Hello, I'm Paul Pluta on the Paul Pluta channel. I'm the method actor who plays ArchieLuxury. Paul Pluta is the more serious side to the ArchieLuxury endeavor. The enterprise, fuckers. And today I'm doing paid reviews. Remember, like, subscribe, and tell your fuckhead friends. Now remember, I do YouTube full time, so I need some money to survive. Pay the bills, bitches. And pay for the bitches as well. And I really depend on paid reviews. It's 20 US for a paid review. You can send a little bit more and I'll try and give you a little bit extra. I can have hourly consultations. You got some dilemmas in your life, 50 US dollars. I'll talk to you for an hour. I'll ring you. I got international credit. It's not a problem there. I've also got Patreon. Patreon allows you to pay a little bit each month to keep me in the business, fuckers. Okay, here we go. We're doing a paid review, and this is for Mark. After looking at your Reverso Grand Date, I found one on Chrono24. It's 5600 shipped. Looks very nice, but no service history. I am guessing in 10 years. I'm guessing it's 10 years old. Is there any way to find out whether it's been serviced, or do I just spend the money and service it again? I have about 15 other watches and I'm not used to buying used. I also have an Omega Speedmaster, man on the fucking moon, and an Explorer 2. I've sent you 20 US dollars to answer this question. So thank you, Mark. And that's a really cool question. I had a look at this watch. It looks fucking amazing. The Reverso Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso Grand Date. It's a fucking amazing piece. Absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning piece. And he's raised a very good point there. How do you know if it's been serviced? And the answer is, it's what they don't tell you that gives it away. See, if it had been serviced in recent times, it would say, recently serviced, with an invoice. And, you know, the best thing it could have is it could have gone back to Jaeger-LeCoultre for the service. But that's very expensive. Alternatively, it could go to a good quality independent who would have serviced it. So if they don't mention, I would assume not serviced. Now, in some watches themselves, their watchmakers actually scribe on the watch, the back case, the service dates. So sometimes I've bought Rolexes, vintage Rolexes, and they got all these dates in the back. You think, it's like a logbook history. But that doesn't necessarily happen as common these days. The other thing is too is that many watchmakers don't want to write in the back because they want to keep the piece of red, you know, they don't want to fuck with it. And sometimes they use a code. They don't exactly, the numbers don't mean anything unless you work for that company. So it's kind of a tricky thing. I would basically go on the assumption if they don't mention the service history, it needs a service. It's something you have to factor in. Now, I know on that watch there, the Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso Grand Date, it's not being made anymore. You're kind of in a rock and a hard place. You just find a nice quality one and you wear the service cost. You wear it on the chin as a man. As a man, you just got to fucking fork out the dough and get it done. And service costs can be astronomical. Look. You know, I'll tell you honestly, sometimes I've bought watches, difficult watches. I bought my Audemars Piguet, my Royal Oak, my 14790 ST. And I found one that had been serviced. It had service. It wasn't actually through AP. It was through an independent. But the independent used to work for AP, did a bit of moonshine. You know, working off the book, if you know what I mean. And I got it. And it still developed a problem. So, you know, sometimes, fuck, what can you do? It's just how it is. You've got to factor these costs in. The hobby, interestingly enough, a lot of dealers I bought quite a lot of mint old, you know, new old stock where people have put them in the safe, haven't touched them, and then they sell them off, you know, they buy something else. No service, but absolutely mint condition. You just got to service the fucking thing. And for the dealer to service it, it's a spent cost, unless he's a super premium dealer who's selling it at retail plus. He's not going to get his money back often. You know, a good service, wholesale service, you know, is going to cost several $100s on something like a Jaeger-LeCoultre. Fuck! You pull that apart, and then the problem is, you know, a lot of these exclusive brands, they don't sell parts to independent watchmakers. So the only way you can get parts for it is by sending it to Jaeger-LeCoultre. I found this with my AP. The AP shit itself. Needed parts. I took it to a good watchmaker. So I need this. No way in the world AP will supply you. No, that's not our problem. So it's very fucking tricky. Very, 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 very tricky. It's difficult. So then you send it to AP, and I got a 3,500 Aussie, 2.5 US service bill. Ouch! 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 It's only a 3-hander. Could you imagine if I sent in a travel time or a fucking perpetual calendar to these cunts? Ooh. And you got to be careful when you're buying used. You got to assume, unless they tell you, yes, it's been serviced, here's the receipt, here's the this, assume it hasn't, because otherwise they would tell you. It's just like when you see a watch for sale, they describe the watch, and you say, oh, does that come with box and papers? Well, if they haven't mentioned it, I don't think it does, see, because anything to get more bucks out of you, the punter, they would do. If I'm selling something and it's got box and papers, that's in my fucking title, with box and papers, you know, that's a selling feature, you know. But if I don't have the box and papers, I just don't mention it. So it's what they don't tell you that gives it away, you know. That's the logic to it. But look, with that said, you know, this is how you've got to factor that in. If you factor that in, I mean, can you use that to negotiate down? It depends on the watch, depends on the seller, depends on so many things. Look, generally speaking, just be careful with it. Get it. I've always, what I tend to do is I buy something I want to keep. I'll wear it for 6 months, then I'll serve, you know, then I'll get it done. But yeah, it's a tricky thing. Unfortunately, you've got to assume, if it doesn't say serviced recently with a receipt, you've got to assume it wasn't done, okay? Okay, you got it. So there you go, that's the answer. ArchieLuxury for the ArchieLuxury channel with the Paul Pluta channel. Remember, like, subscribe, tell your friends, $20 US for reviews or questions, and I'll try and help you, fuckers!
We specialize here in pre-owned Rolex watches. Rolex watch is a very special timepiece, and we always do the servicing exactly as factory specifications. We buy a pre-owned piece and we put it into brand new condition. We have Rolex certified technicians working on that. We completely disassemble the piece. We adjust and polish and change every single part of the watch.
You have to have certified watchmakers that know what they're doing. If you have an expensive car, you're just not going to bring it to any mechanic that doesn't know what they're doing.
You spend $5,000, it's like if you put money in the safe deposit box. And 1 or 2 years from now, you will keep having your $5,000. We have to spend a lot of money to get all this equipment together, but makes me feel I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. It's not a question of money, it's my passion.
Jewelers on time, simply the best.